In my last video, I talked about what a fair value gap is and how frustrating it can be not knowing what fair value gap to pay attention to, considering there are hundreds or thousands on the chart. I introduced the concept of my rebalanced fair value gap, which is the only fair value gap that I pay attention to. If you haven't watched it, I'll leave a link in the description of this video that goes over what a fair value gap is and why the rebalanced fair value gap reigns supreme. Today, I'm going deeper. I'm going to show you more examples of these rebalanced fair value gaps and how this concept plays across charts so you can start spotting them in real time. Let's recap on what a rebalanced fair value gap is, but before we do, you can get 15% off FX Replay, the backtesting software that I use, with the link in my description. I love FX Replay. Why? Because it allows me to backtest and to make sure that I know the results of a strategy before I apply it in real time to real markets. Let's quickly recap what a rebalanced fair value gap is. It's a gap that's formed, filled, and then breaks structure. Let's go over that, okay? Let's go over to the chart here. So this is our first example here. So a rebalanced fair value gap is a fair value gap right here. Fair value gap that is filled, and you can see that it is filled right here. It is formed, filled, and it breaks structure. You can see here we have this high and we have that structure break. It does not need to close above the candle. It just needs to trade through it. Okay? Important note. Once we have a fair value gap that is formed, filled, and breaks structure, that is our rebalanced fair value gap. It is a fair value gap that has been rebalanced. This confirms trend continuation. Now, when I see that, I don't treat it like any old fair value gap. That level becomes a power zone on my chart. One I expect price to respect if we revisit it later. And as you can see, once we revisit it later over here after 9:30, which is my trading window, 9:30 to 11 a.m. is when I trade. Once we have price revisit this rebalance fair value gap, you can see that we are off to the races. Let's look for another example of a rebalance fair value gap so that I can show you some real examples here on the chart. All right, and here we have another one, okay? We have a rebalanced fair value gap. Let's zoom in here. So we have a fair value gap right here that is formed, filled. Right here, you can see that it has been filled, and we break structure to the upside. As I said before, it does not need to close above. In this case scenario, it did. It just needs to trade it through it. The fair value gap is formed, filled, breaks structure. This is my power zone. And once we revisit it over here, it takes off. At what time? 9 o'clock. Let's go over some more examples here so that I really want to ingrain this into your head. I want this to be tattooed on your brain, okay? Now that we're clear on what it is and I've given you two examples, let me show you more examples and show you how crazy accurate these zones can be when price comes back to them. And here we have another one, okay? So we have a fair value gap that is formed. It is then filled and it breaks structure again. It just needs to trade through it. And once price comes back and revisits it, you can see here during London session, we had quite a reaction. Now, this is on the 15-minute time frame. So if you're trading on the 1-minute time frame and you're using an entry model here to get into this trade, this would have been a nice little trade here. Let's go over a couple more examples. Here is another amazing one, okay? We have a fair value gap here that is formed. It is filled right here, and we break structure to the upside. And once we come back down and we revisit this fair value gap, it's off to the races. Let's look at another example. Hopefully you're starting to understand this. All right, and here we have a bearish example here. We have a fair value gap that is formed, filled, break structure, and once we draw that out, look at that reaction. Here at what time? 9:30. Let's look at another example. Hopefully you're starting to understand this, guys. These zones are my absolute favorite, okay? What's really cool about these rebalanced fair value gaps is that it works on every time frame. Here, we're on the 15-minute chart. For example, let's go on to the 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, we have this beautiful example right here. We have a fair value gap that is formed. It is filled. Draw that out. Once price revisits it, we're off to the races. What time? 9 o'clock. Starting to understand a little bit? Let's find one more example here. Let's go up to the 4-hour time frame so I can show you again that this works on every time frame, okay? This is, let's delete this. This was our 1-hour rebalance fair value gap. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we have one here, a fair value gap that is formed, filled, and once we come back down into it, it's off to the races, guys. Off to the motherfucking races. Okay? This is so powerful. Let me give you one more example. I'm feeling pretty generous today, okay? I'm feeling pretty generous. Here, we have a fair value gap that is what? Formed. We have a fair value gap that is what? Filled. Draw this out after it breaks structure here. So we have this structure broken here. Now, this is a perfect example of it not needing to close above. It just needs to trade through it. Okay? Draw that rebalance fair value gap out and look at this. Look at this takeoff here. Guess what? Goes and breaks this high. Comes right back down to do what? Off to the races. At what time does it absolutely skyrocket? 10 a.m., which is why I trade between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. Now that I've given you a couple of examples, let me show you how my trading day starts. Right now it is 9:28. Like I said, I trade after 9:30 a.m. So what I'm going to do here with you is I am actually going to mark up my rebalance fair value gap areas in which I'm interested in taking trades at, so that you can see what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. Here, what you see on the chart, this is a part of my strategy, which I will not be releasing in public right now. Eventually I will. All right, so now we're looking for fair value gaps that were formed and filled. So let's start at the daily time frame. So I have nothing, and you can see, guys, my chart is absolutely marked up with all of these rebalance fair value gaps. All of these rebalance fair value gaps, guys. This here was a trade that I took the other day. Absolutely beautiful. Actually took 2 trades. I lost one and I won the other one, which was absolutely amazing. So let's just go over that one, okay? Let's just go over that one very quickly. And I'll also put some footage up so that you can see that I actually did enter it and there was a real-time execution. Down onto the 30-minute time frame we go, and we're going to bar replay this quick. Now, on our 30-minute time frame right here, let's delete this inverted one. That is for another video. On the 30-minute time frame here, you can see that we have a fair value gap that is formed, filled, price revisits it. I drop down onto the 1-minute time frame, and what I'm looking for is an inverted fair value gap, but not just any inverted fair value gap. Something that proves that there are players there. Okay, so here you can see this fair value gap. I'm not going to go in depth. This is my strategy, but you can see this fair value gap here is formed. Now we're in our 30-minute rebalance fair value gap. This fair value gap here is formed. We have a reaction off of that fair value gap. Let's play it forward here. Now, what I'm looking for is for price. Look, as you can see, we have multiple reactions. This area here is a good area. You can see that there are players in this area. So I have this highlighted out, and what I'm waiting for is for price to close above it and give me another fair value gap. So let's wait and see. Price close above it. Didn't give us a fair value gap just yet. And here you go. You can see that price gave us a fair value gap here, and that is actually where I entered. My emotions were skyrocketing right there. Almost got stopped out. We were in profit. Comes back down into drawdown again. We're in profit. Comes back down into drawdown again. We're in profit, and boom. That's it, guys. That's all I look for. Now, let's go back to today so that we can mark up our areas because I am looking to place a trade. We're going to go onto we already checked out the daily. There was nothing on the daily. Now we're going to go onto the 4-hour time frame and see if we can see any rebalance fair value gaps on the 4-hour time frame. Actually, it's perfect. We have one right here, guys. Let me delete this. We have one right here. We have this fair value gap here that is what? Formed. It is filled. We break structure to the upside. Now what we're doing is we're waiting for price to come back down into it. and hopefully skyrocket. Let's keep going down. 1 hour time frame. Do we have anything on the 1 hour time frame? We do not have anything on the 1 hour time frame. Do we have anything on the 30-minute time frame? We do have this fair value gap here that was formed, filled, and what I'll do is I'll mark that out. So we have this fair value gap again that was formed, filled, broke structure, and we're waiting for price to come back up into it, okay? Let's see if we have any other rebalanced fair value gaps. All right, we have one here. We have this fair value gap, and this is awesome because it is a confluence. This is our 4-hour fair value gap, rebalance fair value gap here. 4-hour rebalance fair value gap, and we have a 30-minute rebalance fair value gap inside of it. So this level could be strong, okay? And what's awesome is it's actually lying below this liquidity here. Actually, we also have one right here. And this is what I do, guys. All right, we have this fair value gap that was formed. It was filled. We broke structure to the upside. And I'm waiting for it to come back down into here. And what I will do is I will actually set alerts at all these levels. So here, look to sell. And this is what I do in real time, guys. All right, I have my Tradeovate account here. We also have this one that I will set an alert at. Did I put look to sell here? Yes, I did. We are looking to buy here. Here we are looking to sell. All right, now let's go back down. I feel like I found some good levels. We actually also have another 30-minute fair value gap here. I'm not sure if there is news today, so I don't know if this will hit. But if it does come back down here, I am interested in that. So we'll go ahead and we'll set an alert there. Look to buy. And we're going to go down to 2 more time frames. The 15-minute time frame. This is beautiful. The 15-minute time frame also has a fair value gap that was formed, filled, break structure, and this coincides with our 30-minute rebalance fair value gap as well. And what's also awesome again is this 15-minute fair value gap was formed, filled, break structure to the upside. And it also coincides with our 30-minute rebalance fair value gap and our 4-hour rebalance fair value gap. So this is what I do, guys. I come to the chart, 9:30-ish. I mark up my rebalance fair value gap areas. I set alerts at those areas. I wait for price to come into it. And I'm not going to go over it again, but I gave you a little snippet of my entry model. And yeah, that is essentially what I wait for. So, guys, please take this seriously. Go back, test these rebalance fair value gaps out, test it with your entry model. And again, what's really nice is that you can use FX replay to backtest this and see how well it works and kind of how you can use it as a confluence to your strategy. And again, you can get 15% off FX replay down in the description below. Hopefully this helped you guys out. Please let me know in the comments if you have absolutely any questions. I will try my hardest to reply to 100% of the comments. And also, this YouTube channel is also used to backtest strategies from these gurus on YouTube to see if their strategy can pass a prop firm. If you have any ideas for those strategies for me to backtest to see if it can pass a prop firm, leave it down in the comments. Use me at your disposal. Please, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.